Or picking olives when Israelis do not want us to pick olives. For example, in this area, Beit Umar, the settlement has taken half the land of Beit Umar. The other part of the land remains with some olives, but Israeli settlements being what they are, they have to have a security buffer zone, which is like 100 to 200 meters away, 300 yards or so, that are away from the settlements. So in these buffer zones, which include Palestinian olive orchards and others, the settlers prevent the Palestinians from coming to harvest their trees. And yet Palestinians do go and harvest these trees at the risk of being beaten, at the risk of their trees being cut down, at the risk, and I witnessed this myself, after the Palestinians, the settlers watched them until they finished the harvest and then came barreling down the hill and literally chased the Palestinians away and took the olives that the Palestinians harvested from their own olive trees. These are the kinds of things that Palestinians have to put up with these settlers. I personally, by the way, while the soldiers harass me, etc., I would rather for 100 times deal with soldiers, Israeli soldiers, than deal with one settler. Soldiers, you can semi-ration with them a lot of the time, maybe not all the time, but some of the time you can reason with some soldiers. They are disciplined, they have orders, etc. But these settlers, like this one here, I mean, I admire this woman talking to the settler who's carrying a gun, who at any point could shoot her with impunity, and say, well, she threatened me, or she picked a stone at me. It doesn't matter, the Israeli judge is not going to believe a dead Palestinian woman over an Israeli citizen who is, obviously there because this land was given to him by God. Or this shepherd woman, for example, who goes to her field against the wishes of the soldiers and the settlers in this area. And she continued to do this even when the settlers went to the extreme of putting poison pellets, which you see on the left side, for her sheep, so that her sheep will eat these poisoned, soaked in rat poison, so that the sheep will die, and she would have no more reason to come to this land that they covet. But this is a form of nonviolent resistance, continuing to go to your land. Or these children in Sheikh Jarrah who, and unfortunately as a Palestinian I'm not allowed to go to Jerusalem. My wife, who doesn't have Palestinian residency, we applied for her 2 years ago and they still would not give her what's called family reunification to allow her to live with me. She comes on a tourist visa and it's risky, you come on a tourist visa, they might give you a month, they might give you 2 months, 3 months, and then you have to repeat the process. So it's hard to predict what is going to happen for her. But anyway, she is not a Palestinian resident yet, so she is able to go to Jerusalem more freely than I am. So she goes to Sheikh Jarrah, for example, and she maybe can tell you she's here, and she can tell you more about it later if you're interested. But in Sheikh Jarrah, there has been many Palestinian homes that were taken over by settlers. And the Palestinians, like those children, ended up on the streets. And in the streets, they build a tent so that they can stay in right next to their house, on the street. And the Israeli army came and demolished the tent 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But they continue to stay there. And many times you can see the energy in these children who are using drums or using other tactics to draw attention. Hey, we are here. We have no place to go. We want our house back.